If you revisit the objects of the Water Act, there is a particular subsection which talks about protecting, restoring and providing for the ecological values and the ecosystem of the basin, and talks about lakes, wetlands, groundwater, and I'm thinking here of the mouth of the river, the southern lakes. Where do I go, or how do I assess, as a citizen of South Australia, the indicators that would tell me about the river flows? I think they're easier to assess given the information available, but the improvement in or denigration of water birds, vegetation condition, declining fish kills, improved nitrogen and phosphorus concentrations, coal water pollution, the key things that tell us whether we're winning in the battle for improving the environment. Now that's a big range. But where does someone like me go to say, are we making gains, progress, improving the biodiversity, or are we treading water? And we need to do other things.
Thanks, Senator. I mean, there are a number of sort of decision points or review points built into the Basin Plan which provide some of that. So there's a 5-yearly evaluation process, and we are in the midst of completing the evaluation, which will be released in 2025, and that's probably really one of the key, and that looks at social, cultural, environmental and economic indicators. And there are a number of matter reports that states and the Commonwealth have delivered, which will underpin both that. And then as we move through, there's a component part says what we call a sustainable rivers audit, which we were funded by the Commonwealth to do, which looks at a re-look at some of those environmental, economic, social indicators feeding into the Basin Plan evaluation. And then we're also looking at how does that translate into the Basin Plan going forward. So they are probably your best points of reference. And one of the challenges, of course, is that collecting that data over a meaningful time frame, it's not something you can do annually, and hence the 5-year process of evaluation and review, and that's really where we see is the original intent of the Basin Plan being met in terms of those outcomes being delivered. So that's probably the best indicator, and that'll be released in the middle of next year.
So this is more of a structural question. So when you're doing the review, we'll be able to see the clear trade-offs. I appreciate there are other parts of the objective which are socio-economic, right? But we'll be able from the way the review will be structured, if someone like me was interested on the environment, and then that will be clear.
Yes, Senator. Yep.
And will that take into account academic research outside the authority?
Very much so, Senator. I mean, it's built on sort of streams of work, and I mean, in addition to that, we have there's the Basin Condition Monitoring Program, which is an ongoing program of works, and each time a stream of work is completed under the BCMP, they are posted publicly, and also the Murray-Darling Water Environment Research Program. That's a $20 million program. That's all being done by external research agencies, and again, we are nearing the completion of that. All of those pieces are being published as they are completed. They are all done by agencies external to the Murray-Darling Basin Authority.
Well, I look forward to your report. I have no further questions.